All right, I'm going to start reading Runaway Twin. I'm so excited. And if you missed some of what we read on Friday, last Friday, what happened is Sunny is on her way to find her sister Star, and a cab driver named Charlie drove her part of the way there. And he's also offering to take Snickers for her so that she doesn't have to continue traveling with Snickers. So that's where we left off. Chapter 15 of Runaway Twin. Without Snickers by my side, the bus driver hardly looked at me. I waved, he stopped, I paid my fare, and the next afternoon, I was in Auburn, Washington. A meal, a shower, a night in a motel, and then I boarded a metro bus. This time, when I got off, I was in Enumclaw. Was Star here too? For the first time since our mother's funeral, were my twin and I in the same town. My first stop was a welcome center where a friendly man asked if he could help me. I need a map of Enumclaw, I told him. We have to, he said. Take one of each. He removed 2 maps from a holder and handed them to me. There's plenty of other information, he told me, nodding toward the rack of brochures and various attractions. There's lots to do in the area. I thanked him and hurried out the door. I went into a small cafe called the Hornet's Nest, ordered a soda, and studied the maps. I decided to start with what appeared to be the 2 main streets, Griffin and Cole. I'd walk down one, and I'd look for the number 1041. If I found it, I'd compare the house with the one in my picture, and either knock on the door or go a block over to see if there was another number 1041 there. How many 1041s could there be? If I didn't find a 1041 on the main street, I'd keep looking one street at a time until I found my house. The adrenaline began pumping as I paid for my drink and went back outside. I was close now. I might find the right 1041 today. Maybe I would even find Star today. At the corner, I noticed a cardboard garage sale sign taped to a telephone pole. Half a block away, the front yard of one house contained card tables filled with household merchandise for sale. As my eyes swept the scene, I saw a bicycle at the edge of the sale. I hurried closer. A sticker on the handlebars said $10. It was a plain blue bike with no extra gears, but I knew I could travel a whole lot faster with a bike than if I walked. Is this your best price? I asked the woman who was running the sale. It's a good bike, she replied. You can try it if you want to. I mounted the bike and I rode it a short way down the street. When I returned, the woman said, I'd take $8 for it. Sold. And I paid her and I pedaled away, watching the house numbers as I rode. It took me only 10 minutes to find a house numbered 1031. Thinking I was close, I rode slowly, but the next house was 1051. I rode to the next street where the numbers jumped from 1031 to 1043. It seemed that every street had a 1031, but instead of progressing to 1041, they skipped to a higher number. Many of the homes were ramblers. In the picture, my family stood in front of a 2-story house with steps leading to a front porch. I continued to ride my bike around Enumclaw, going farther away from the downtown area. It was mid-afternoon when I found a house numbered 1041. The numbers themselves were missing, but I could see the outline of where they had been over the porch. And as soon as I saw the house, I knew it was the right one. The red brick chimney matched the photo. A large fir tree grew off the side in the area between the sidewalk and the house. The tree seemed familiar, like an acquaintance whose name I couldn't remember. The tree couldn't be seen in the picture, yet I was sure it was there when that photo was taken. The house needed paint, and the roof shingles were dotted with patches of green moss, and dandelions had gone to seed in the front lawn, and the seeds had blown away behind the empty stems. As I looked at the house, I saw Star and myself as we had been in that picture, 2 happy little girls posing with their grandma and her dog while their mom aimed the camera. We had played in this yard and slept in this house, this very same house. Even though it now needed some repair, I felt a deep fondness for the house where I had lived with my mama and grandma and Star. This had been my home. Feeling as if I'd traveled backward in time, I walked up the porch steps and I knocked on the door. A woman opened it about an inch, leaving a chain in place. I'm looking for some people who used to live in this house, I said. Their last name was Skyland. Oh, I don't know them. Well, have you lived here long? I asked. Well, that isn't any of your business. I'm sorry, I said. I'm trying to find my sister. We used to live here. I have an old picture of us standing in this yard with our grandma. The woman's eyes softened slightly. We rent this house, she said, and I don't know who lived here before you did, or we did. You'd have to ask the owner. Oh, well, what's the owner's name? Well, I don't know that either. We pay rent to a property management company. Just a minute. I'll get their card. She handed the business card through the door, and I thanked her, and I walked down the steps feeling discouraged. I wasn't likely to have some big company help me out. I went to the next door, and I knocked there. Nobody answered. Nobody answered at the house on the other side either. I would have to come back in the evening when more people were likely to be home. As I nudged the kickstand up with my foot, I saw movement at the window of the house across the street, and I realized someone was watching me. I wheeled my bike over there and I approached the door, and before I could ring the bell, the door opened. A white-haired woman in an orange and blue flowered dress said, "What are you selling?" "Oh, I'm not selling anything," and I held out my empty hands. "I'm looking for someone who used to live there," I said, pointing. "And I wonder if you might know where she is?" "Well, who are you looking for?" Her last name was Skyland. "She's gone. Loretta Skyland was killed in a car wreck years ago. Her daughters, too." Chills ran up my arms. This woman had known my grandma and my mother. "Loretta was my grandma," I said. "My sister and I lived here when we were little, and so did my mom." "You're one of the twins?" The woman's eyes widened. "You're one of Marie's girls?" I swallowed the lump in my throat. "Yes, I'm Sunny." The woman opened the door wider and she waved me inside. "Come in," she said. "I'm Connie. I'll fix us some tea." I'm going to stop there, and you'll have to find my next video to see what happened next.